Okay, so now we're ready to start tracing um, and copying down and then drawing in Vectornator all the pieces from our prototypes. Now, you don't start this unless you have already photographed your prototype from 3 different points of view, angles, so we know what it looks like on all 3 sides, viewable, okay? Or 2 sides, if you are looking at it from a hanging piece that's got pieces thrusting out at it. So once you've got that done and it's been submitted, then we're going to want to carefully take the pieces back off again or separate them, because you could literally on paper, just plain paper, or on your sketchbook paper. Actually, plain paper would probably be better, less lines to kind of show up for us. I have some printer paper that you can pull out underneath the either from the printer drawer that's over by the room that connects 403 and 402 together, or underneath that white printer is a little ledge. It's hard to see. There should be some more spare paper, computer paper underneath there. So take that paper out and literally trace around. I would use a Sharpie marker or a permanent pen of some kind. If you open up the cabinet doors 4 and 3, if you don't have a Sharpie, and I can't remember if I gave you one yet or not, there should be some spare Sharpies and stuff in there. But a permanent pen or a ballpoint pen would do the same thing. But I did this with a Sharpie marker, and I traced around my basic shapes on a piece of paper. Just to put a few on, just to kind of test this. But pack as many of them in as you can. Interlock if you have to, kind of the way I snuggled one in here, and photograph it. Photograph it as best you can. Like, prop the sketchbook up on an easel if you're at school. Prop it up in a well-lit area at home, because the quality of the picture will lessen your frustration in Illustrator, in Vectornator. Okay, so here's my picture. I'm now going to come over here to Vectornator, and our boards that we're going to be cutting and fitting all these shapes on, I believe, are around 20 by 24. So I'm going to start a new document, custom size, and I'm going to make it 20 by 24. We can always adjust this later, and again, make sure it's in inches. Hit create. Okay, and there is my document there. All right, I want to bring a picture in, so I'm going to hit the plus sign over here at the top, and there's my photo there. I'm going to click on him. All right, and there it is. Now, obviously, I don't need my shapes quite this large, but I'm not going to worry about my size of my shapes yet. I just want to get them transferred and turn into lined paths so that the laser cutter can cut them, right? So we'll resize them here per the grid and the ruler at the top a little bit later. It's easier to work with them as they come in just a little bit larger. So here's my image here. I'm going to go into layers there. Notice that it's unlocked. Just always double check and make sure it doesn't lock the photo when it brings it in. Sometimes you'll find it locked on accident. It depends on the photo quality sometimes. All right, so now I'm going to go up to the paintbrush, which is under style. And notice the next words say image auto trace. Okay. We don't need gobs of paths because I don't have gobs of shapes, right? I basically have 3 shapes that would just need 3 paths. So I'm going to lessen. It's not like I'm taking a photograph of like a landscape or something and turning it into paths. So I'm just taking this down really low. We don't need gobs of paths. And then I'm going to hit the auto trace. All right, so here's what it did. It turned these things into objects that were fillable. So I'm going to click on something here, and you can see here how it shows the fill, right? I'm going to turn the fill off. Then down here, I'm going to pinch zoom, and let's get a little closer so you can see what's going on. All right, so I have several things. I'm going to click on this guy here, okay? And very lightly, you might be able to see that there's a path line going around a stroke line. I'm going to change that stroke line to something I can see. Okay, let's change it to, we can always make it red or something, whatever's going to show up for us on our black and white. And this allows me to know what the computer traced and everything else that I need to get rid of. Make sense? Okay, so I'm going to now click on this stuff here. Let me close back out here. I want to click on the background stuff and delete it. I'm going to click on the inside stuff and delete it. Uh-oh, did I delete my red line? Let me go back here, make sure. Gotta double check here. There's my red line. Let me make sure. I'm going to click on that right there and delete it. Good. Okay, I'm going to click on this, and no, I do not want this to be filled with anything. I just need the outline stroke, right? So I'm leaving that as an outline stroke. Okay, I'm going to leave it about a 1-point stroke because, again, we don't want it to be super fat. The fatter it is, it's going to try and cut on both sides of that line as if it were a shape. So I'm going to keep it very thin. We just need a thin burn line on our foam board. All right, now you will see that there are some inconsistencies, right? I'm going to zoom in here. Look how it's all really ragged and jagged, and that's just, it picked up some bumps in my ink as it came out of my pen, or if I hit a bump on the side of something as I cut it. Well, I obviously don't want that kind of bump or wrinkle. So that's when we come in with this little direct selection tool. This is the second arrow, and this allows me to play around with the different nodes that are here. If I select one, I can see these little handles, and look how I can kind of move the handles to kind of alter the curve. In some instances, I might even just click on this guy and get rid of him altogether so I can smooth it out. So I'm going to take this handle, see if I can smooth that out a little bit, take this one, and we'll start to get some of our curve back. All right, I'm going to delete that one. Oh, maybe that one wasn't the best one to delete. Maybe I should delete this one. There we go, and I can kind of move that one up a little bit. So I've already kind of smoothed a little bit out in that section. Okay, I mean, you could keep working with it and find, you know, what you like. Maybe this is one that we get rid of, and I soften. Look at that. All right, it softened a whole lot more when I got rid of some of my anchors. So fewer anchors, the better. So anywhere where you have a wobble or a disagreement that you don't like, you can always move the handles. So I'm kind of working my way around here. Look, there's a big cluster of lots of little dips and things over here. I think I might kind of click on this and get rid of him. I didn't mean to do that. Let's try that again. Click on this guy, get rid of that. There we go. Looky there, smooth that out significantly. Okay, so work to smooth out any of those little bumps or inconsistencies that you didn't like from the transfer situation. Okay, you can then take that back to a basic black, right? So we can come all the way down here and say, okay, now it's a black stroke line. Okay, oh, there's a little wobble and stuff up here I could take care of. So pinching and zooming in. So you're basically going to be using your selection tool again. Okay, I would change the path to a color that you could see so that you could click on the outline marker shape there, get rid of it, take the fill, turn the fill off. Okay, and then with the little direct selection tool, start fixing some of the curves, or if the straight lines aren't very straight, use that little direct selection tool to get rid of some of these little nodes that are in the way, that are too multiplied, that are showing a lot of those bumps, and use the handles to smooth out.